Afternoon, everyone. How are we? It's Dan from TD Football, head coach again. Just posting a video about trials. So trials are coming up for NPL and SAP, AYL, things like that. And then next year you're going to park football trials, or sometimes at the end of this year with clubs. I get asked all the time, should I play SAP? Should I play NPL? Should I play AYL? Is AYL good enough? Should I stay at park football? Should I go to reps, and for what reason? Can I stay at park football and still make it? Get a million questions always involving this. And I understand, because there's not a lot of stuff out there. Clubs are secretive, a lot of them. There's not a lot of stuff posted. Football New South Wales is changing it every year. So I completely understand parents not understanding what's going on. So this is for parents and kids, mainly for those older kids that are going for your NPL. Some younger kids might watch it and think about it, but it's definitely something to look into. So the main thing straight off the bat is, should I, shouldn't I? That's a personal choice. So there's pros and cons for both, like everything in life. So yes, you get more games at a rep or SAP than what you do at park football. Is the coaching better? Not guaranteed. Meant to have a license, most coaches. So they should be better. But because you've got a license or a piece of paper, it doesn't mean you're better. But overall, they should be. Is the club run better than a park football club? That's another thing that it's 50-50. Just because they're NPL doesn't mean they run better. And I know all this for a fact, because I've been there and done it, and been involved with clubs in and out, and different little pieces here, and kids trialling and kids not, and players trialling, and I've seen it all. Okay, so is every club the same? No. Is every person the same? No. Coach? No. NPL? No. It's all different. Okay, so this isn't specified at one club or one person or anything like that. But yeah. So back to that. So it's more games. It's should be better coaching, but not guaranteed. Should be better run club, but not guaranteed. Should be playing against harder people. That's pretty much guaranteed. Even not AYL, but if you go to SAP or NPL, definitely. Should training be better? Should be. Again, depends on the coach and the club, but it should be. So there's some pros. Some cons about it is, obviously, the fees, huge, go up every year. Word on the street is they're $2,850 this year, next year, and then it'll go up the year after, and just continues to go up. You get tracksuits and all that stuff for it, and divide it by all the sessions and all the games. It's not a lot of money, to be honest. I know parents think it is, but it isn't. But park football's $150 or something, less games and that, so you've got to weigh up financially where you are as a parent or a player or whatever. And then what other things have we got there? So that's a negative, obviously, if you don't have those funds to facilitate that. Obviously, where you've got to travel to, you're traveling all over Sydney, sometimes Bathurst, sometimes down the coast, all that sort of thing. Park's close, so some parents don't like to travel, some love it. The competition is obviously harder. So if your child is a big fish in a small pond, he will be a small fish in a big pond, or she, most of the time when they get to NPL. Takes a year or so for kids going from park to NPL 2 if they're good enough, or now NPL 3, to cut the mustard, most of them. So a lot of things have to think about what you want to do with your football career, or as a parent, or where you think your son or daughter may make it or may not make it. So once you've got that down, a couple of pros and cons of both. Like every club, rep or not, there'll be political children picked, there'll be sponsors' kids picked, there'll be kids who you don't think make it, should have make it, be picked, there'll be coaches' favourites picked, there'll be coaches' kids picked. Happens everywhere. Park, not so much with sponsors and politicals, really, because everyone gets a spot. It just depends what age group or level. But NPL, definitely. Don't let people tell you it's not, because it's a lie. Is that fair? No, it's not. 100% agree, but as I said, it depends on what coach and what club you go to, what policy they have, and how strict they are with these things, and what they're meant to and not meant to do. So you have your SAP, which is 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s, and then your NPL, which is 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s, and now 18s as well. Your girls' SAP is 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, and NPL is 14s, 15s, 17s, reserves, first grade. Then into your AYL, you've got 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s for boys, and your girls' conference, which is AYL, is 14s, 15s, 17s. So just keep checking notes. Obviously, try to make it as factual as we can. We want it to be right. Won't 100% be, and a lot of it will be my opinion and what I've seen. People won't agree. Some people will agree. So yeah, as I said, going on there. What do we got here? Like every team, how good will my team be? Can I win a comp? Will I win a comp? Am I going there to play with better players? Everything comes down to the cattle, which is the player. So if you have 10 good players at park football, you'll go close to winning the comp. You have 10 good players at NPL, you'll go close to winning the comp. It's the same. Yes, the coach helps with that. All coaches are good, bad, indifferent, and they give that team an extra 5, 10, 15, 20, 30%, whatever, if they're a good coach. But if you don't have the cattle, you can be the best coach in the world. It's very, 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 very hard to win. Okay, so it really depends on where you're going and what club and where they finish and who kids they retain and what kids turn up and that sort of thing of where you're going to go for that season coming up. So expectations when you go into NPL need to be down here, and if you finish higher, great. Or SAP, or SAP isn't, you keep the score as kids and parents, but we're not meant to keep the score. So that's something to think about. What else is there? So the trials, obviously park football trials are all run differently, or grading because everyone gets a spot, and then NPL are official trials, and they're all run differently as well. Every club, every TD, every coach, they want to run them differently. Personal belief is small-sided into large-sided games, you get to see everything. Small-sided, they're under pressure, they're definitely going to get touches. Large games, they might not get as many touches, but they're not under pressure as much because they get more room. So if you can't see what you need to see there, as long as they get enough time in both, and they get enough touches per kid, and you have enough coaches seeing them, doing a passing drill, a shooting drill, finishing drill, a crossing drill, whatever. For me, great, the kid can cross, but if he can't pass under pressure, or he can't receive, or he doesn't know his positioning on a field, it's a lot more important, because you can teach a child to pass after 4, 5, 6 weeks of continually doing it with him or getting them to do it at home. Okay, so that's me personally, but I know plenty of coaches disagree with me and think you should have your core skills all set through and go into that. Everyone's different. What do we got here? I think that's all we've got at the moment on it. So for me, trying to break it up, don't want this to go too long. That's the most stuff I can tell you, really. Every club's different. The biggest thing for me out of all of this, and the thing I tell every parent, does not matter if you're at park football, SAP, AYL, NPL, Australia, backyard, conference, wherever you're playing, futsal, you need to have a good coach. You need to have a coach that is going to put the time in, a coach that is going to run good sessions, a coach that is going to connect with players, a coach that will understand the parents and try to, not connect with them, but try to have a verbal understanding with them of who's the coach, who isn't, guidelines that he sticks to or she sticks to, so there's no blurred lines. And if you have all that, and then the club that coach is at facilitates that coach with equipment, facilities, time, education. Yes, playing at park, the kids your son or daughter is playing with might not be as good as the NPL, or you might not have as many games, but the coach is the key. So find a good coach and stick with that coach. I know a very good coach over at Rockdale. He was at Bankstown, he's now at Rockdale. He's had a couple group of boys for a long time now. Good coach, very successful. Got a good team, 100%, but he's a good coach. That's why he's successful. He connects with the kids, he's younger. That's why he's successful. Okay, and he was successful at Bankstown, and then he was successful at Rockdale, and he'll be successful at the next place he goes because he's a good coach. So it doesn't matter if he goes back to park, he'll still be successful because he's a good coach. Okay, so think about that before you rush into an NPL or a SAP or an AYL team, not knowing who the coach is, or do a bit of research. Find out who the coach is. Find out where the team finished last year. Is it the same coach? If you know anyone in the team, or the boys or girls know anyone in the team that you're going to, ask about it. How was it? Okay, that is the key. One thing that irks me a lot is AYL. Probably get a bit of badgering from this, but AYL for me is just a disgrace and a joke, and just something for clubs to keep money, to make money. They either play park football or they play reps. There shouldn't be an in-between of to fill up pockets for clubs. That, for me, yeah, I know for a fact some AYL clubs have filled their AYL team with a third division team from park football because they couldn't get a team and just said, you guys come across. Now, if they're not good enough for Div 1 at park, how can they be playing AYL? Fills the pockets. So currently it's there, it's available, and if you get into a decent team and you have decent coaching, decent training, same thing, good luck to you, because you're still getting the good coaching. But if you don't make reps, for me personally, if it was my son, which I have a son coming through the system, he'll go back and play park football under a good coach. He won't go and play AYL, but everyone is different. It's something that you need to look into and look at the amount of teams in it, the travel in it, what you get from it, the coach, the fees, and think, is it worth it? And lastly, you have other programs now. So yes, most of you know TD Football's involved in PAL, which is Premier Academy League. So we play 26 games a year, I think, on a Sunday, half an hour games, 2 a week. And they go 3 different seasons throughout the year. Then my kids play park football at the same time. So we're really now getting the same game time as a rep kid. Yes, it costs more for those kids to be in the system, but it's still cheaper than being in a rep system to play both. And I believe they're getting decent coaching. I only employ decent coaches, and myself, we run the system, the program. So there's definitely other options, and I think there's 30-something academies involved all doing the same thing. And then I'm sure there's other programs and facilities out there, private sessions, things like that. So the last point I can say is find a good coach. I just keep going back to that. Find yourself a good coach. And if that's reps, great. If it's not, fine. But you need to find yourself a good coach, and then there's other avenues out there to get extra training, extra coaching, extra games, if you don't want to go down the rep football thing. But if you do, good luck to you. It's definitely good if you can find a good coach. Great fun, good atmosphere, good competitiveness, and definitely a base to be able to go higher if your child is at that level. Okay, so don't rule anything out. Leave everything open, but do your research and find a good coach and a good club. Okay, any questions, post them below and we'll answer them for you. Thanks, guys. Good luck with your trials that are coming up soon. Well done.